Jeffrey Dahmer is one of the most notorious serial killers in American history. Known as the Milwaukee Cannibal, Dahmer committed a string of gruesome murders in the late 1980s and early 1990s that shocked the nation. His crimes were marked by a chilling brutality and a disturbing fascination with necrophilia, cannibalism, and other acts of depravity. Despite being caught and sentenced to life in prison, the legacy of Dahmer's crimes still reverberates to this day. As people continue to grapple with the question of how such evil could exist in our society. In this video, we will delve into the disturbing life and crimes of Jeffrey Dahmer, exploring the psychological and social factors that may have contributed to his horrific actions. Viewer discretion is advised. But before we get started, please make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified about our amazing upcoming informative videos. Now sit back, relax, and let's go. Jeffrey Dahmer, born on May 21, 1960, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, was the first of two sons born to Lionel and Joyce Dahmer. His childhood was marked by a sense of isolation and loneliness, which was compounded by his family's frequent moves and his parents' troubled marriage. Dahmer's parents were both highly intelligent, but their relationship was strained by his father's frequent absences due to work-related travel and his mother's struggles with mental illness. As a child, Dahmer was shy and withdrawn, with few friends and a tendency to retreat into his own thoughts. In his teenage years, Dahmer's social isolation deepened, and he began to show signs of deviant behavior. He became fixated on roadkill and began collecting the bones of animals, which he would later bleach and preserve. He also began experimenting with alcohol, which would become a lifelong addiction, and started exhibiting other disturbing behaviors, such as stealing and voyeurism. Despite these warning signs, Dahmer was able to graduate from high school and briefly attend college. However, his drinking and erratic behavior led to his dismissal from Ohio State University after just one semester. After leaving college, Dahmer moved to Florida, where he worked at a sandwich shop and continued to drink heavily. In 1981, he was arrested for exposing himself in public and was subsequently ordered to undergo counseling. However, the counseling proved ineffective, and Dahmer's behavior only became more erratic and dangerous. In 1988, Dahmer's life took a dark turn when he committed his first murder, picking up a hitchhiker named Stephen Hicks and taking him back to his parents' home, where he killed him and dismembered his body. Over the next several years, Dahmer would go on to commit a string of horrific murders, targeting young men and boys whom he lured back to his apartment, where he would sexually assault, murder, and dismember them. Dahmer's murders came to light in 1991 when one of his intended victims, a 14-year-old boy, managed to escape and led the police to Dahmer's apartment. When the police entered Dahmer's apartment, they found human remains in the refrigerator and freezer, as well as on the floor and in acid-filled containers. The police arrested Dahmer and charged him with multiple counts of murder. During his trial, Dahmer pleaded guilty but insane, claiming that he had been suffering from a mental disorder that had caused him to commit his crimes. The court rejected his plea and found him guilty of all charges. He was sentenced to 15 life sentences without the possibility of parole. Dahmer was sent to the Columbia Correctional Institution in Portage, Wisconsin, where he was initially placed in solitary confinement for his own protection. While in prison, Dahmer became a born-again Christian and expressed remorse for his actions. He also gave interviews in which he described the details of his murders and the motivations behind them. On November 28, 1994, Dahmer was beaten to death by another inmate, Christopher Scarver, while on a work detail at the prison. Scarver later claimed that he had attacked Dahmer because he was disgusted by Dahmer's crimes and that he had been angry at Dahmer for taunting other inmates with the details of his murders. Dahmer's murders and the details of his crimes have been the subject of numerous books, documentaries, and films. They have also been the subject of much debate and discussion among criminologists and psychologists, who have sought to understand the motivations behind his crimes and the mental disorders that may have contributed to them. In conclusion, Jeffrey Dahmer was a notorious serial killer who committed some of the most heinous acts in modern history. His depraved actions shocked the world and left a lasting impact on the families and friends of his victims. While it is difficult to comprehend the motives behind his crimes, it is important to remember the lives he took and the pain he caused. We must continue to educate ourselves on the warning signs of mental illness and seek help for those who may be struggling. The story of Jeffrey Dahmer serves as a reminder of the darkness that exists in the world and the importance of compassion, empathy, and understanding. It is only through these qualities that we can work towards a safer and more just society. If you found this video informative, please consider subscribing to our channel for more true crime content and updates on similar cases in the future.